one of the things that I thought would be interesting to talk about was just the visibility,
Yeah,
because that's a crucial part of it. And you're one of the few people that gets to see behind the scenes within organizations where
yeah,
they're basically just, opening that kind of messy bedroom door and going, yeah, here is everything,
yeah,
and it's full disclosure.
yeah.
What do you see in terms of kind of common issues around visibility and the problems associated with that?
Yeah, I think, well, the first thing is I don't judge. So, I might take the mick out of them a little bit for some of their data and some of their typos and misspellings. But I think the first thing is to make them feel comfortable that this is actually normal and this is actually what I do for like all my clients. And, there's loads of people out there with those issues. Things that I see a lot are missing information, lots of typos, misspellings, not usable invoice or PO descriptions. I've seen a lot of supplier names misspelled, which is,
Multiple supplier entries, you get all that sort of thing.
I think at one point I did even find like IMB instead of IBM, like that level of carelessness and not paying attention to detail. It there's lots of it, and then some have classified data, some don't, but then they haven't really updated it properly or nobody's looked after it, so it's fallen into disrepair. And data's a bit like a classic car, really. It's might be old, but it's only valuable if you maintain it. If you let it rust away, it's absolutely useless.
Yeah, that's a great analogy. So obviously you can't classify data if you're not tracking it. You need to get visibility. You need to have things in the right format, matching up, and actually, available.
Yeah.
If you look at that as how that within procurement, in terms of how that applies to procured services, how have you what have you seen happening specifically around that area? Because from our point of view, around procured services, we often find that there just is a very, very limited amount of data, in the sense that you might have a statement of work contract that's created that may or may not have milestones of what's going to be delivered, which may or may not have changed in the delivery of the project. But in most cases with services, it's far harder to track, and companies are much less likely to track it because existing technologies may be more geared towards goods and materials.
And a lot of the services can just be people's names as company names. So it's not necessarily ABC Consultancy, could be Bob Smith. So those types of names can often be misclassified as employee expenses and things like that. So it might not even be necessarily categorized in the right area. I've also worked with clients where there is no description, and I've had to just work with the supplier name in multiple languages, which was an absolute nightmare. At that point, that you can only do your best guess in some situations. Okay, the company I'm classifying for does this. This company could do this or it could do that. What's the most likely service the client's going to be buying? And then, you have to take that judgment call. So yeah, it can be pretty messy. And then, you've got your consultancy services, your big fours, just seeing things like PwC, P.W.C, PricewaterhouseCoopers, Price Space Waterhouse Space Coopers, and all the variations that go with that. They're not even getting a true picture of what they're spending with one supplier, let alone the whole business. So that's common. And possibly one other common thing I wanted to just add in as well was that procurement have to kind of look at their data separate to the rest of the business. Because if they try to merge it with the finance system, finance aren't happy because the categorizations aren't right for them. Master data don't like it because you could have multiple classifications against one supplier and they only want one classification. So the work that procurement do, in my experience, tends to be done as a kind of offshoot of what's going on in the wider company in terms of data, because they can't get what they need from the wider business.